Administrator access should be rented, not owned. If a powerful account stays active all day, every day, an attacker only needs to steal it once. Privileged access management changes that bargain. Request the smallest useful permission, approve it for a specific task, monitor its use, and take it back automatically. In this CipherVibe episode, a fictional administrator named Riley needs maintenance access to a fictional production database. A deterministic local simulator evaluates the request, requires approval, grants a limited role for 15 minutes, records safe action metadata, and expires the grant. It never contacts a directory, vault, cloud, database, or production system. Privileged access management is the policy and technology layer around powerful access. It can control administrator accounts, root access, cloud roles, database operators, emergency accounts, service identities, and sensitive commands. A password vault may be one component, but PAM is the larger system for authorization, brokering, monitoring, expiration, and review. Standing privilege means an identity carries elevated rights even when no privileged task is happening. That creates a long exposure window. A phished administrator, stolen session, malware infection, insider misuse, or forgotten account may immediately inherit high-impact access. Removing permanent assignments reduces what is available to steal. The better pattern is just-in-time and just enough administration. The user starts with an ordinary account. For a defined task, they request one role on one resource for a short period. Policy checks identity, device, risk, separation of duties, and change context. The grant expires automatically, even if the user forgets to release it. Our lab uses opaque labels only: Riley, prod.db, DB maintainer, and request 104. The simulator has no passwords, tokens, certificates, endpoints, network calls, or executable administration commands. It simply moves a record through denied, approval required, active, expired, and revoked states so defenders can study the control logic safely. Riley requests the DB maintainer role on prod.db for 15 minutes to validate a fictional change. The request includes a ticket reference and business reason. Vague requests such as temporary admin everywhere are denied. Specific inputs make policy enforceable and make later review meaningful. The policy engine checks more than a successful login. It requires a dedicated admin identity, phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication, an approved administrative workstation, acceptable risk, a permitted maintenance window, and no conflicting role. It also verifies that Riley cannot approve Riley's own request. An authorized reviewer sees the exact resource, role, duration, reason, and expected consequence. Approval is bound to those facts. If the target or duration changes, the request returns to policy evaluation. The administrator cannot turn a narrow approval into a broader grant after the reviewer clicks approve. After approval, the PAM system brokers access. Depending on the platform, it may activate a role, issue short-lived credentials, inject a credential into a controlled session, or create an ephemeral account. The administrator does not need to learn or copy a reusable master password. The target system enforces the limited grant. The session record connects the person, approved request, issued grant, target, start time, and outcome. Capture security-relevant action metadata and alerts without placing secrets or unnecessary sensitive data into logs. Session recording must follow legal, privacy, retention, and access requirements. Evidence should be useful without becoming a new data leak. At 15 minutes, the local state machine changes active to expired. A real implementation must remove the server-side grant, invalidate temporary credentials, and end or downgrade the privileged session according to policy. Expiration is not a reminder email. It is an enforced loss of authority. Some incidents require emergency access when normal control paths are unavailable. Break-glass access should use a separate, tightly protected identity with the minimum necessary scope. Its use triggers immediate alerts and a mandatory review. Credentials and procedures must be tested safely, because an emergency account that never works is not resilience. Privileged identities are not only people. Backup services, deployment tools, database automation, bots, and AI agents may hold powerful permissions. Give each workload its own identity, owner, purpose, and expiration. Prefer short-lived, workload-bound credentials and deterministic authorization instead of one shared automation administrator. A robust design separates the control plane from the target system. The request service gathers context. Policy and approval authorize a specific grant. Credential or role services create temporary access. The target enforces it. Independent logging preserves evidence. Compromise of one component should not silently rewrite the whole chain. Privileged activity should match a declared story: who, what resource, which role, why, and when. Alert when the identity reaches a new target, attempts a forbidden action, uses access outside the window, creates another privileged identity, disables logging, or retains authority after expiration. Test the controls so failure is visible. Do not begin by trying to onboard every account at once. Identify the access that can change identity systems, security controls, backups, cloud organizations, production data, and root configurations. Remove unused privilege, separate daily and admin identities, requires strong authentication, then introduce request, approval, time limits, monitoring, and emergency procedures. This week, choose one high-impact role and ask 4 questions. Who has it permanently? What exact task requires it? How short can the elevation be? Can you prove the grant disappeared? Privileged access management works when powerful access becomes exceptional, specific, temporary, observable, and revocable. Find the complete CipherVibe checklist in the companion guide.